There may be a new twist in the trial of the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, as there are reports that the embattled CJN may have resigned his position. Justice Onnoghen reportedly sent his resignation letter to the President on Thursday, barely 24 hours after the National Judicial Council concluded investigations on various allegations of misconduct leveled against him. However, there has been no official statement from the presidency on the matter just yet. But what does this mean to the Justice Walter Onnoghen, the judiciary and the polity? Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb, where you can find our videos. We're also on Facebook as well. We've got all our social media platforms covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation. Let's get your thoughts in. The magistrate court sitting in Ebutameta area of Lagos State has ordered that Ogunyemi Olalekan be remanded in prison. He is the police inspector dismissed from service after he was found guilty of killing Kolade Johnson. He was arraigned in court on Friday by the Criminal Investigation Department of the Lagos State Police Command. What will be the outcome in court? Will this incident cause a review of the gun laws according to the Force Order 237 on the firearms? Will batons take the place of AK-47 assault rifles in the hands of police officers or not? The Lagos State Police Command, in the meantime, has arrested 2 persons suspected to have masterminded the killing of a medical graduate of the University of Lagos, Stephen Urueye, at the Idi Araba area of the metropolis on Thursday. Urueye was one of the graduates from the university who participated in the school's convocation just on Wednesday. According to the police, the 2 suspects, Badebo Jumo and Malik Adeboye, were arrested on Friday by operatives of the Itire division. We'll keep our focus on that as well. It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone watching us from across the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday in Abuja assured Nigerians that his administration will, in the next 4 years, pursue inclusive and transparent policies that will guarantee security and economic safety of every citizen. He was speaking much earlier than that. The president was speaking when he received a delegation of the Nigerian Union of Journalists at the State House in Abuja on the heels of his winning the presidential elections. Many ask, how will this work in the interest of the people of this country, though? Omar Getso is the vice presidential candidate of the Young Progressive Party, the YPP, in the just concluded 2019 general elections. She joins us from Abuja studios. Also, Dr. Abiodun Adeniyi of the Department of Mass Communication, Bayes University, Abuja, also joins us. I want to thank you both for coming on the show at this time. But let's start with you, Haji Getso. This is the quote the president said when he met with the leadership of the NUJ. In his words, "As I look to the next 4 years, I will remain committed to a safe and secure nation, creating an inclusive and diversified economy and a governance system that is free of corrupt practices. In all these, we will remain transparent in implementing our policies." What's your interpretation of Mr. President's statement?
Well, as a good citizen of Nigeria, I may say what we need is not even the inclusive government or anything. It's just for the president to get competent people to work with, especially in the security issues, because I could remember during the renovation of the airport, when our airport was as it were shuffling from Kaduna to Abuja, there were a lot of security on the road, and there was not this security of a thing. Nigerians government was able to tackle it within weeks. There were a lot of security from Abuja to Kaduna road, which now I don't think the government is. I don't know whether the people are no longer competent, or we have not gotten, or they're not just willing to make an impact, or to touch the lives of people to take care of this insecurity. But conclusive or inclusive or or as in what I say the other government they are doing the other time, it's not about inclusion of other parties or other people into the government. It's just about getting the right people to do the job.
So what then would you say, since you've touched on security as a major concern, making reference to that period in time when the Kaduna airport had to be used and people had to move by road or through Rigasa by rail to try to get to Abuja. Now, if that is a major concern, would you say that the government is addressing some of the security challenges that we've seen today? Kidnapping, for one, has still been very high on the agenda, and a lot of people are still complaining that Abuja-Kaduna axis is a major problem for a lot of people who ply that route. What can the government do in this time around, or what hasn't it done as to what it did when the airport in Abuja was closed?
Every Nigerian will know that I don't think the government is doing what it should do. I don't know what happened during that time that they were able to secure the road, and now the security is even getting out of hand. During the past administration, we used to have only Boko Haram insurgents, which is in one part of the country. But now imagine the bandits, imagine what's happening yesterday. I saw something happening in Burnungwari, what's happening in Zamfara. You see the videos going on, somebody will even cry over them. So I don't know why the government is not willing to act, or it's just that if at all they can secure the lives of the prominent Nigerians that were traveling between Kaduna and Abuja Road in those days during the renovation of the airport. Why can't the government do it now? So I think Nigerian government need to sit up, because that is the promise they gave us. That was why 2015 we were all out. We campaigned for President Muhammadu Buhari, thinking that he is the man for the job and he is going to solve these security problems. But to me, this is a total failure. If at all, this is the main thing that brought him into power, and they are not able to tackle it. To me, the government is a failure.
Let me get your thoughts, Dr. Adeni, because the president has also made a statement that the next 4 years will be much better. So do you see some of these challenges, like Hajia Getso just mentioned about security, do you see some of these problems being tackled by this government?
Very well, Jimba. Thanks for having me on, and good evening, viewers. It's okay that the president has come out to reassure the citizens that they'll step on the gear to make sure that they right some of the wrongs noticed in his first term. But it's not just about mouthing these things. We need to see action. We need to see action in the area of insecurity. We need to see action in the area of the economy. And we need to see further action in the area of anti-corruption. He's got 4 years to write his name in gold. He's got 4 years to leave a very strong legacy in history. And that 4 years should be an action-packed 4 years. It's not enough, like we've seen in years past, for our leaders to talk about these things in very fine rhetoric, in very fine languages, but when it comes to action, they are less than salutary in terms of delivery. Okay, he's got 4 years, fine. The Nigerian populace have voted him in the records of INEC, that's all right. But he needs to go further to galvanize the populace and bring about and register more performance, okay? It's not enough, again, for us to be waiting in the wings for the much expected goods of democracy. We have waited for too long. This is 20 years on. Nigerians have been battered, they've been badgered, and you see, expectations have to be met, really. Okay, we are tired of rhetorics, we are tired of promises, we are tired of expectations. And let's not forget that the populace, the electorate should not be taken for granted. Okay, we've seen it happening around the world. We just saw it recently in Algeria. It will come to a time where the electorates will be pushed to the wall and they might want to take action. We don't want that happening in this country, but the time is now. The time is nigh for our leaders to realize that the electorate might be manipulable, they might be feeble, they might be fickle, but they also have a day when they can call our leaders to judgment. We do not want that day to come in
if we may, I would like us to stick to the promises of Mr. President when he made that statement. But how will it work for this administration if we're to go by the president's promises of inclusiveness for a government that he wants to run? How do you think it should be, structurally speaking?
Very well, Jimba. Inclusiveness is a demonstration of one of the tenets of democracy, which is involvement. So what it means is that it should look beyond his party. Okay, his appointment shouldn't just be based on political considerations alone. It should be based on merit. It should feel free to draw from other interest groups, whether political party or some other kinds of classifier that we want to consider. It could draw from the youth, from the women group, from all other sections, irrespective of their political affiliation. It's about considering merit. It's about prioritizing expertise. It's about prioritizing and privileging the potentials for delivery, not just politics. We've seen so much of politicking, and it has failed us in the last couple of years. It is time for us to activate our potentials. Nigeria is a very blessed country in terms of human capital, and we have them aplenty. So you can draw from any section. You should feel free to draw from all these sections, and not just drawing from these sections or not just naming them, but ensuring that they deliver. And if they don't deliver, you shouldn't just allow them to sit there and mark time. Action should be taken. We need some kind of performance exercise, some kind of measurement, really. If you're not delivering, okay, you can be told, you can be excused out of the cabinet. Okay, we do not want traditional kind of stool where people will just sit down there because you've been appointed. Even if you're not performing, you are left there. The president should be concerned about performance this time around, but performance should be based on expertise, and expertise can be drawn from all sections, all interest groups, not just.
Okay, let me get the views. Let me get the views of Ajegetso too as well, because this largely touches on people like you who have contested at the very highest positions in this country, going by the 2019 general elections. Do you think if there were to be an inclusive governance, you will, although you still don't believe that that's what we need now, but will there be a structure that you would like to see in place if that will be a way to go for this administration?
Well, I think I'm going to repeat myself. And as Doctor said, appointments should be based on merit. The president, during his first tenure, I think he waited almost 9 months before appointment of his ministers, which we were all thinking he's going to bring out new, competent from the technocrats to see that we fix this country. But unfortunately, we still saw the old recycled politicians in his own cabinet. So we're expecting him now to work with strong, credible, trusted hands to see how he can fix this country. It's not about as an inclusion of other parties or whatsoever. No, it's about fixing or finding the right people to work with.
So in finding the right people to work with, I'm sure you would also agree, as many analysts have also looked at, saying that the anti-corruption fighting institution, that's the EFCC and the ICPC, they have done a great job in the past 4 years fighting corruption. Would you agree with that statement?
I can say that's a kind of, it's not agreed. I do not agree on that. I'm very, very sure a lot of Nigerians will still not agree on that, because all this fighting of corruption we're seeing, nobody has been executed, or even the monies that were being returned, nobody can account for them, because I think of recent there's even something that was going on about some monies that were being taken by somebody, and it can't account from the government. It's even the money is even lost in between. So to me, there's nothing being done. I pray the president will do something this time around to really fight corruption, not this kind of fighting of corruption that we're seeing with no result. I pray whenever they got people that are involved in corruption, they should be brought out, they should take them to court, they should be executed and return the monies, even if they are not even willing to return all, but at least, and if the monies were returned, they should be accounted for.
Dr. Adeni, we are at the point where the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, purportedly has resigned from his office. And there is just so much uncertainty at this point. But what will it amount to for a person, the judicial officer of the land, to go into resignation at a time like this, when it is thought that his competence and perhaps other endowments that he comes to the table with will be set aside?
Very well, Jimba, but I think for the CJN to have resigned is rather salutary, so to say, because this is a very senior public official who has paid his due in contributions to the nation's judiciary and to the development of the nation's justice process, as it were. You know, so if he thinks that the most honorable thing to do in this circumstance is resignation, I think it is actually good for the system. It brings about some level of sanity and some level of purity to the entire process. I think it's not just a face-saving thing, But for us to have him experience what he has gone through in the last couple of months, I think the honorable thing to do really is actually resignation. It doesn't matter. We're not going to the substance of the case now.
But will a resignation, if I may just come in here, will a resignation mean a soft landing for the CJN?
Yeah, he was not forced to resign, from my understanding. It was a voluntary action. And resignation should not be seen as a soft landing in any case. It can be very honorable, and I think in his own case, it's just a honorable step in the right direction, so to say. Somehow, he has sanitized himself to some extent, because he didn't wait until he's probably kicked out of the office, but he just left on his own. So it's voluntary, and at the personal level, he'll be entitled to so many things registered for him in the records, in the books. You know, that's at the personal level, but on the larger scale, it's just it's a kind of self-purification, you know, purifying the judicial process. Do not forget that as a Chief Justice of the country, it's a very sensitive office, and you always need that kind of person to be above board. But if we have a principal officer like the CJN being charged in court, being prosecuted, it takes a lot away from what we expect of that arm of government. So that he has resigned is actually good for the system, and it's also good for him. And I think from now onwards, we can move to something else, really. I don't know what other processes will be coming into place, but in the first instance, in the circumstance that we're talking about, it's actually happening for the entire body politic.
Okay, Haji, so let me get your thoughts on this as well, because this is a developing story, and one which we hope that by the end of the day we'll get a definitive stance on whether he has actually resigned or not, getting a statement from the presidency, that is. But when you look at this issue, do you get a sense that the judiciary itself, because we're going into the seasons of tribunals and what have you, do you think the judicial system itself may be under some kind of pressure now that Walter Onnoghen may not just be on the saddle on that ship?
Well, I may say, some few months ago when this whole case started, I think there was a statement, I think that I read in the media, that was saying that he should resign honorably, or as in some things might be, as in there are some things that might arise. So I think his resignation now, he was left with no other choice, because already there's another CGN that's been sworn in. So even if he did not resign, I'm very, very sure the picture is already a kind of dark one. So I think he just honorably resigned to just make things look more good. Because I'm very sure this whole CGN's issue is a very, very complicated one, because if you can see the way Nigerians, some are seeing it a positive and some are seeing it as a kind of negative thing. But the whole process, what I am as a Nigerian though, the process by which the whole case has been taken, that's where we put a lot of weight, because the whole process, why the issue was raised at that very time, is what Nigerians should look into. But his resignation, I think, will really solve the problem, because even if he has not resigned, there is already somebody on board. So for me, resignation is the last option. But initially, there was a kind of either, I don't even want to call it a threat, but there was a statement that was he should resign honorably, which I think he did now. So maybe the matter will be closed.
But in your view, since you're part of the politicians this time around, how do you think this will impact on cases at tribunals?
If at all they will follow the right process, or they will check and make sure, or what they did is the right thing to do, I may say it's a kind of eye-opener or a kind of good step for the Nigerian judiciary to be doing the right thing. Or as in placing him now on this hot seat will make others to sit up more. But if at all the process wasn't a clear one, because we are all outside, we did not know what's happening within. So if at all this is the right thing to do, I say, yeah, that's a very good result for Nigeria, and it's a good step forward. But if at all the process wasn't a clean one, I may say touching somebody of that position with all these kind of things, if at all it's not a necessity or it's a kind of something that comes with a personal interest, for me it's not a very good way to go in this country.
And you were also part of the elections 2019, running for the vice president under the YPP. But so many things have been thrown up because of that. And one of which is the restructuring agenda. Another one is the the call, should I say now, or the clamor for a total rejig of the judicial system. And also another one that has come up is the Electoral Amendments Bill that desperately needs some kind of adjustments, if you will. But if you look at that, what would you say will be the needed impetus now to make the electoral process even more transparent looking ahead?
Well, the electoral process, or what happened in 2019 election, let me start from the first one. That's the kind of the opportunity that shows Nigeria have come of age politically by giving a lot of political parties and a lot of aspirants to come on board and showcase what they can give to Nigeria. And to me, this is a kind of eye-opener to Nigerians to show them that they have better options or they have other options. But and the other way, media people like you did not make a lot of help or did not contribute a lot to our dreams, because you are more putting your emphasis on the two main, as in most prominent or the richest political party, and you're just like indirectly, or 70% you did their campaign on social media, because you are refusing to pronounce other candidates because of the, let me say, the weight that's put in on the boot.
Okay, let me make it up to you right here, right now, if that's your thinking. Let me make it up to you right here, right now, if that's your thinking. Would you accept an appointment in this administration?
I can't say. I love my party very, very well, and because I know it's the party of the future, and I will definitely want to stay and continue building my own political party, because I know YPP is the solution to the future of this country. So it's not about getting appointment. It's not about, I am telling you, I'm for YPP and I will forever be for YPP, by God's grace.
And also on that note, I must thank you so much indeed, Umar Getso, the vice presidential candidate of the Young Progressive Party, the YPP, for the 2019 general elections, as well as Dr. Abiodun Adeniyi of the Department of Mass Communications, Bayes University, also in Abuja. Thank you both for talking to us on State of the Nation. And to you for being part of the show, I want to thank you so much indeed for watching. I'm Gimba Umar. Until I come your way next time, this is State of the Nation, and bye for now.